You hear about this booming national forecast, but then you look at the local numbers and they seem to be from a totally different planet. So what's the real story? Let's decode this thing together.
And that really is the heart of the matter, isn't it? Is the Ann Arbor market about to snap back and catch up with the rest of the country? Or are we seeing something else entirely, a kind of rebalancing into a new normal? The answer to that question is going to shape your entire game plan for the next few months.
And here it is, the core problem in black and white. You've got the National Association of Realtors predicting a nice, healthy 4% price growth across the U.S., but at the exact same time, Redfin's data for Ann Arbor shows a staggering 18.1% price drop year over year. So, how can both of these be true? Let's dig in.
Okay, first, let's zoom out and look at the big picture. This is the optimistic national forecast that has so many people thinking the market's about to turn a major corner. And honestly, the feeling at the national level is incredibly positive.
I mean, listen to this. This comes from Lawrence Yun. He's the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors. So, when he talks, people listen. And the key word here is confidence. When he says prices are in no danger, that sends a huge signal to the entire industry that a strong year is on the way.
And it's not just talk. They're backing it up with numbers. They're projecting a 14% jump in home sales. That means way more houses are going to be changing hands. After a couple of slow years, this really points to a whole lot of pent-up demand finally being unleashed.
So, what's bringing all these buyers back from the sidelines? Well, a lot of it has to do with this number, a forecast of 6% for mortgage rates. Now look, we all know that's not the rock-bottom 3% we saw a few years back, but compared to the recent highs, it's a huge relief, and it's just enough of a drop to make a monthly payment feel manageable again for a ton of people.
So, if you put it all together, this national optimism is standing on pretty solid ground. You've got more people working, you still have a fundamental shortage of houses for sale which props up prices, and you have those slightly lower mortgage rates. It's a powerful combination.
But, and this is a big but, that's the view from 30,000 feet. What happens when we land the plane right here in Ann Arbor? Well, let's just say the story on the ground looks a whole lot different.
These numbers from Redfin tell the tale. The median sale price is down in a big way. The number of homes sold is down almost 20%. Just to put that in perspective, that means for every 5 homes that sold this time last year, one of those deals just didn't happen this year. That's a huge shift.
And it's not just price, it's the pace. It just takes longer to sell a house in Ann Arbor right now. 79 days on average. That's nearly 2 weeks longer than the rest of the country. You can just feel that buyers here aren't in a frantic rush anymore, they're taking their time.
So, how do we solve our puzzle? How can the national market be roaring while Ann Arbor is hitting the brakes? Well, the answer isn't that one is right and one is wrong. The answer is that our local market is going through a very necessary balancing act. This quote from local realtor Rick Taylor absolutely nails it. See, the problem isn't that there's a lack of buyers. The problem is that some sellers are still thinking it's the market of 2 years ago. They're pricing their homes for a frenzy that just doesn't exist anymore, and the market is pushing back.
And here's what's driving that change. There are simply more homes for sale. When buyers have more options to choose from, they don't have to get into those crazy over-asking price bidding wars. The whole power dynamic begins to shift, and suddenly the buyer is back in the driver's seat.
You can really see how this played out step by step. We went from that chaotic peak seller's market, right? Then more and more homes started to get listed. That extra inventory gave buyers some breathing room, some leverage, and now we're in the final phase, a balanced market, where prices have to adjust to this new reality.
So here it is, maybe the most important takeaway of this whole thing. That big, scary 18% price drop we saw, it isn't a crash, it's a correction. Think of it as the market saying, whoa, hold on, those prices got a little ahead of themselves. Let's bring things back to a level that actually makes sense. Okay, so now that we know the market is balancing, not breaking, what do you actually do with that information? How should you be thinking about the summer 2026 market, whether you're trying to buy a house or sell one? The playbook has definitely changed. For buyers, the message is loud and clear. Get pre-approved now. Don't sit around hoping rates drop another quarter point, because the good homes, the ones that are priced correctly, are still going to sell fast. And for sellers, the advice is even more critical. You have to price your home for this market, not last year's, and make it look amazing, because buyers can afford to be picky now.
So, what's the bottom line here? The Ann Arbor real estate story for summer 2026 isn't a doom and gloom story, but it's also not a carbon copy of the national boom. It's its own unique story about a market that's finding its footing again.
And that leaves us with the one big question you need to be asking yourself. In a market like this, one that's not tilted heavily in one direction, winning looks completely different. It's not about speed and panic anymore. It's about strategy, it's about preparation, and it's about being realistic. The rules of the game have changed.